Hello, today I'll be going over A5, which is solving equations. This first video is going to be on solving rational equations, and I'll have two other ones on the two other topics. So the first step is to find the least common denominator if there's addition or subtraction in the problem. Combine what you can on each side of the equation, cross multiply, solve, and check the domain for extraneous solutions. So in number 1, we are going to first find the domain of the problem. So again, domain is possible values of x. So if we look at the denominators, we have 4, 2, and 2. So none of these are x's, so that means x can be any number. So that means the domain is all real numbers. This is the symbol for all real numbers. It's like a R with two lines. Next, we want to find the LCD. So looking at the denominators, we have 4, 2, and 2, so the least common denominator is going to be 4. So I want to multiply everything in the problem by 4. So 5x over 4 times 4 is going to be 5x. 1/2 times 4 is going to be 2. X times 4 is 4x. And negative 1/2 times 4 is negative 2. So now our equation has no fractions. Next we want to solve for x, so I'm going to subtract 4x on both sides, and I get x plus 2 equals negative 2, and then we're going to subtract 2, so x equals negative 4. Now we want to check our answer with our domain, but since our domain was all real numbers, that means x could be any real number. So x equals negative 4 is our final answer. Number 2, so again we want to first find our domain. We're going to look at the denominators of the original problem. So we can't divide by 0, so that means we want to set the equation 5x plus 6 not equal to 0. So then to solve for x, we're going to subtract 6, so 5x cannot equal negative 6, and then divide by 5, so x cannot equal negative 6 over 5. And that's going to be our domain. For this problem, you can choose to either cross multiply since there's no addition or subtraction. So that means we're multiplying these two and these two. Or you could find the LCD. So the LCD is going to be 2 times 5x plus 6. And you'll get the same equation either way. So let me just erase that because it started looking a little messy. Okay, so I'm going to choose to cross multiply. You'll get the same exact equation if you use the LCD. So that'll be 2 times 10x plus 3 equals 5x plus 6. Next we're going to distribute. So we get 20x plus 6 equals 5x plus 6. Then we're going to subtract 5x on both sides. We get 15x plus 6 equals 6. Subtract 6 on both sides, so 15x equals 0. And then divide by 15, so x equals 0. And our domain was that x cannot equal negative 6 over 5, and 0 is not negative 6 over 5, so 0 is going to be our solution. In number 3, the denominators are x and x minus 5. So for the domain, that means x cannot equal 5 and x minus 5 cannot equal, x cannot equal 0 and x minus 5 cannot equal 0, so that means x can't equal 5. So these two here are the domain. Next we want to find the least common denominator. So for this problem it's going to be x times x minus 5. And we're going to multiply the entire equation by x times x minus 5. So then we get x minus 5 plus 2x equals 0. Next we're going to combine like terms, so we get 3x minus 5 equals 0. add 5 to both sides. So 3x equals 5. Divide by 3. So x equals 5 over 3. And we had two numbers in our domains that x cannot equal. X cannot equal 0 or 5, but our answer is 5 over 3, so this is fine. So that's going to be our final answer. Next, we have this problem here. Again, we're going to look at the denominator. So that's 2x minus 1, and that'll help us figure out the domain. So they're both the same, so we can just do this once. X minus 1 cannot equal 0. Or sorry, 2x minus 1 cannot equal 0. So that means 2x can't equal 1, so x can't equal 1/2. This is going to be our domain. And for the LCD, that's going to be 2x minus 1. So we're going to multiply the entire equation by 2x minus 1. We get 7 minus 8x equals 4 times 2x minus 1. Because in the first two terms, the 2x minus 1 in the denominator is going to cancel out with the 2x minus 1 that we multiplied by. So next to solve, we're going to distribute. We get 7 minus 8x equals 8x minus 4. And then I'm going to move the 8x over. So 7 minus 16x equals negative 4. Subtract 7. So negative 16x equals negative 11. Divide by negative 16. And we get x is 11 over 16. And this is a number within our domain, so this is fine. Okay, in the next problem, we have x minus 1 as a denominator, 3x plus 1 as a denominator, and 3x plus 1 as a denominator. So for the domain, we're going to set each equation not equal to 0. So x minus 1 cannot equal 0, so that means x can't equal 1. That's going to be the first number for our domain. And for the other one, 3x plus 1 cannot equal 0. So 3x can't equal negative 1, so that means x can't equal negative 1/3. So that's the other number in our domain. Next, we want to find the LCD. So highlighted in pink are the two denominators. So our LCD is going to be x minus 1 times 3x plus 1. So we're going to multiply our entire equation by x minus 1 times 3x plus 1. So in the first term, the x minus 1s are going to cancel out, so we're left with 4 times 3x plus 1. In the second term, the 3x plus 1 is going to cancel out, so we're left with 6 times x minus 1. And in the last one, the 3x plus 1 will cancel out, so we're left with 15 times x minus 1. Next, we want to solve for x, so we're going to distribute everything. So we get 12x plus 4 plus 6x minus 6 equals 15x minus 15. Then we're going to combine like terms, so 12x plus 6x is 18x, 4 minus 6 is negative 2, and then 15x minus 15, we can't combine anything there. So now we want to move all the x's to one side, so we're going to subtract 15x on both sides. We get 3x minus 2 equals negative 15. Add 2 to both sides, and we get 3x equals negative 13. Divide by 3. So x equals negative 13 over 3. And this is within our domain because x couldn't equal 1 or negative 1/3. So negative 13 over 3 is our final answer. Okay, for the last one, we have these three as our denominators. X squared plus x minus 6 we have to factor first, so you can use the x method. On the top would be -6, on the bottom would be 1. So we're looking for two numbers that multiply to -6 and add to 1. And that would be 3 and -2. So this factors into x plus 3 times x minus 2. So for the domain, again, this is possible values of x. We have two equations that cannot equal to 0. X minus 2 cannot equal 0, so that means x can't equal 2, and x plus 3 can't equal 0, so x can't equal -3. Then for the LCD, looking at the equation, that's going to be x minus 2 times x plus 3. So we're going to multiply the entire equation by x minus 2 times x plus 3. So in the first term, the x minus 2's are going to cancel out, so we're left with x plus 3. In the second term, the x plus 3's are going to cancel out, so we're left with x minus 2. And in the last term, everything cancels out, so we're just left with 4. So next, to solve, we're going to distribute 3. We get x plus 3 plus 3x minus 6 equals 4. We can combine like terms, that'll be 4x minus 3 equals 4. Add 3 to both sides, so we get 4x equals 7, divide by 4, and we get x equals 7 over 4. Then we just want to check with our domain. X can't equal 2 or